Well, Jill will be out all week.
Next week.
Mhm.
Right.
So I think it's just whatever works for
You
myself
and
and
May.
May. 8:30 works for me.
I think it's good
But
just to keep it.
Yeah. I have lots of other availability next week too, if that's a problem.
Well, and Jessie might. I know Jessie was hoping to join today, but wasn't able to, so she might try for next.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they're going to see all this during the month of April, all the different advisory boards, but it would be good to get their input, and have them review it ahead of time.
I agree. And when they look at it in April, they're going to be looking at everything, and so they got to get their pointed feedback.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone remembered that we had changed this time.
Well, Billy had just jumped on briefly for a couple minutes on our 2018 building code. But then he jumped off, so I wondered too if maybe he had those confused.
Oh, he was saying he wanted to go to the charrettes as well.
He was only on for a little bit, and then he maybe fell off or jumped off.
Huh, interesting.
I'm sending everyone a message right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's really nice when you send out the meeting, the calendar invite, because what's that?
From WebEx.
Yeah. Then it ends up on my calendar, and then I can just go to my calendar and click on the WebEx link. Otherwise, I go to the town website and then go to Envision 2030 and find it.
I would not be able to survive without the calendar invite.
I know.
So, I feel you. It's like, let me keep myself organized. All right, I just sent a message to all. Jill's hopping on right now.
Good. I ended up not getting my vaccine today.
Oh, really?
Because of all the snow, and then my daughter convinced me I shouldn't be driving down the canyon this morning. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably wise. So I rescheduled with UC Health, which I think is better than the Safeway. So it happened this Saturday.
My mom was able to sneak one in just last week, and I guess my dad goes this Wednesday. So I feel like people are slowly being added to the list.
Right. My husband got his first one last Wednesday, and I am on a list to get one March 25th.
Woohoo!
Yoo-hoo! It does make you feel better the more and more people you know are getting it.
Yeah, it makes it feel like we might be getting back to normal here.
Whatever the new normal is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, will there be more variants out there that will be widespread and but looking forward to relaxing a little bit with my kids and other people.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're waiting for a few people, but I don't know. We have a hard stop at 5, and so
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just working on the SCFD grant.
right in the
Which is due
way.
tomorrow.
My gosh.
What are you working on, Joe?
SCFD grant, the big grant.
Oh,
So anyway, we're almost done. It's due tomorrow.
so
Yeah,
it'll
so I have a
be
hard stop too.
okay.
And I haven't heard from Tom or Billy. They haven't responded. So
Okay.
however
Let
you
me-
want to proceed, Karen.
Yeah. So let me just share my screen.
I think you sent out a reminder of the change, right?
There was. So I think what we want to do today is go over these goals and objectives and just look at each one and get feedback from all of you. So, okay. So they're broken up into the themes, and there's a goal for each theme. And first one is climate. I don't think we haven't really looked at these goals nor the objectives.
Is anybody else seeing Karen's screen?
You
I
seeing it?
can't. I think Karen, it kind of got stuck. And so sometimes if you stop share and reshare, it helps.
Okay. Stop sharing. Got it. Yeah, I had my other monitor turned on when I did it, and so I think that was the problem. So now I'm trying to find where WebEx meetings. I don't know where my WebEx went. Okay. There, I used the app.
You're just trying to make me feel better, aren't you, Karen?
I had the exact same problem that you had, and it went away. Let's see. Okay, maybe if I turn on my other monitor, or I could go out and come back. Okay, there we go. Now I see it. I'm going to turn this monitor off. And all right, now it looks good.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, so I haven't shared yet.
Okay.
So, and now it doesn't have an option for me to share. Isn't that odd?
So that's what happened to Jill earlier. And then I had a call with WebEx and they gave me a link, but
Weird.
Oh, I found
it. Okay.
I found it. Yeah.
I'm also gonna make you the host, just in case.
I found it.
Okay, we can see it now.
Okay.
Well, I can't see your screen. Can you?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can.
How's that?
Karen, can you see it?
I'm just seeing Karen Blakemore is starting to share content. That's all
I can
see.
see it, yes.
Oh, should I go
So
get
Jill,
a,
that's happened to me when my internet is delayed. I'm not sure if you're experiencing a delay, but that's happened at my
well,
home.
we should talk to internet again, because I don't think it's improved over here, you?
Where are you at home?
No, I'm at Wild Bear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna leave the meeting and come back in. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's
That's
worked
good.
for me in the past.
So to create these goals, I looked at several other strategic plans for environmental sustainability. And I also reviewed all the documentation that SAB has for what their current goals are and what they have done in the past. And
Should I just go, I think it's WebEx, so I'm just gonna go into the document myself.
yeah, good
while you're
idea.
talking. Here. Keep talking, sorry.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I was using the the World Health, or is it the World Health Organization? The other goals that Garrett is using. Let me just scroll down here. Oops. I had done that just to be consistent with what he was doing. These were the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, but they were just, they seemed to be, it seemed like our subcommittee was kind of questioning the verbiage around there and trying to understand it. And I felt they were kind of difficult for like regular people to understand. And so these themes are what everyone seems to be using. And so that's why we have those different themes. And the first one's climate, and it's achieve carbon neutrality and become more resilient to the effects of climate change. So I feel like we should maybe just look at the goals and not the objectives, and then we can just get through all the goals.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I like the
So
first one.
carbon neutrality basically being we're not generating more carbon than we're consuming.
Mhm.
Yes, we could look at the objectives too. For climate.
Was Garrett gonna be on this meeting today?
He can't. He had a call with Excel at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I did reach out to him and let him know that we wanted to have SAB or him review all these goals and objectives before we finalize them, which is the 1st of April. So I thought I gave him 3 different options that I saw him to come to our meeting this week or next, or for us to go to the SAB meeting in March, which is next week, I think, next Thursday.
I like all the goals. I think they're great.
So we talk a little, oh, okay. So the climate, then the objectives under the climate goal is reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% below the 2005 levels, which is a state goal. And that goal is aligned with the Paris Accord and is actually a little bit more aggressive than the Paris Accord. And it's more aggressive than the current Boulder County goal. And then support climate change preparedness and climate adaptation and resiliency. I put the town infrastructure in there thinking that we had an issue recently, didn't we, with the
Technically speaking, our town facilities are already on 100%. It's not exactly renewable though, because I remember there was quite a conversation about this. But we signed up with Oak Leaf, and all of our utilities are basically contracted with the Oak Leaf Solar Garden. So we're basically already have our town infrastructure. So I'm talking wastewater plant, water plant, already up to snuff. It's the first thing we accomplished towards this goal.
Oh, okay, and I put that down in the energy and building goal.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Energy, that's okay, energy, that first bullet, energy efficiency. But now up here, this is more making the infrastructure resilient to flooding. Or didn't we have a problem recently with the wastewater plant? There was a effluent coming out into the reservoir.
Are you talking before the biosolids building was built?
Oh no, this was just recently, and the police actually kind of marked off that area.
Yeah,
and put
right.
up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Chris Pelletier dealt with this, and that there was I don't want to say a simple fix, but was something that we just retrofitted. We were able to address the situation, but I would need to check back with him about that.
Okay, it had nothing to do with climate change.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I think it had more to do with just something in the structure, something in the infrastructure that needed to be adjusted.
So I guess the town infrastructure would be like, how prepared are we for drought? Is the town infrastructure prepared for that?
Well, for drought, that really has to do with your water source, correct? I mean, that's what we're really concerned about here. And we're positioned very well for water rights. And what we are allowed to use through our augmentation plan, and what we actually use is less than 50% of what we're allowed to use every year. So really, we're positioned well. The question is, if the water source goes dry, and then everybody, in Colorado and beyond is going to be struggling. So as far as the drought we're in right now, we're doing very well. We're positioned very well. If things go bad though, and climate change gets so bad that the actual water source up above us is depleted, that's a whole different story. And that's not just going to be us.
Right.
Because, the city of Boulder, farmers, it's just going to, and other states, it's just going to impact everyone. So I'm not sure we can prepare in that case.
Right.
We do have water storage tanks, throughout the town and whatnot. But I guess I'm not sure, for just your sort of run-of-the-mill droughts, what we've been in for years, we're positioned well.
Right.
What it could potentially become, I think, even though we're still sitting better than a lot of communities in the Front Range, we're still going to be struggling like everyone if the water source is depleted.
So, so this also covers things like a wildfire contaminating the water source. So
right now, that is something that Boulder County is all over, and they are the ones they have a watershed protection plan that they have had in place for quite some time, although they're just updating it now and they're working with the town on that. And they might
I sent it to you. Sorry.
Do you have it, Jill?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you want me
Sorry.
to did you, I'm not sure. I thought somebody said I'll send it to you. I was gonna offer to send you what I have.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then the other, I know during the floods in Boulder, the sewers backed up because there was just so much water and it was seeping into the sanitary sewers and actually backing up into houses. So, and then I believe the city has done things to prevent that from occurring in the future. So that's, I guess, what I was thinking of for the town infrastructure, things like that, you know, climate change, you know, or drought, wildfires, flooding. I don't know if flooding is a result. I guess it's a result of climate change too.
It definitely impacts it.
Yeah. And then the second one is make climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation priorities for town operations. So, you know, putting in place government regulations related that might help those things, and town facilities. Oh, that gets back to the infrastructure. So that might be, I feel like that might be a duplicate of the one above there. I don't know, we should maybe take that one out. Okay. Support carbon sequestration practices. So that gets into forest, you know, don't cut down all the trees because they are sequestering the carbon. Keeping
There's so much to learn. I feel like is there an education goal?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be under each one of these, huh? Kind of
Yeah.
an education, yeah. Because it just feels like such a big old learning thing for everyone. It's always changing, and it's hard for people to jump on board when they don't really understand any of it.
And if you look at our the Envision 2030 survey responses, there's very little in there about environmental sustainability. There are things like people love the environment, they love the mountains, they love nature, but getting into these technical things about, well, how do we keep that beautiful environment?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and
I don't know.
How do we preserve what we cannot really see or feel?
Yeah. Yeah, change is occurring in the future. Educate community. Okay. Educate community. I don't know what other words to put in there, but I guess we could do that later. So the next one is ecological health goal. Preserve and restore healthy and vibrant ecosystems for all inhabitants. Encourage the use of native vegetation on public and private lands. Reduce the use of synthetic herbicides and pesticides. I think they're all toxic, the synthetic ones. Preserve and restore healthy ecosystems.
I think there could be something in here about, you know, there's a lot of misunderstanding about what is, you know, a problem. For example, dandelions used to be considered a big weed and eradicated completely, and it actually eradicated the bees as well.
Mhm.
You know, so I don't know how to put that. I agree, educate the community is a big part of it, but maybe evaluate and update our current procedures around ecological health.
Well, we do have
It's a very complicated thing, but
we do have a noxious weed plan.
I know, but you
Okay.
know, the word noxious weeds, that in and of itself has controversy, unfortunately. Because we used to consider, for example, dandelions to be a noxious weed, when in fact they're completely not. Does that apply here? I don't know.
I think
just
it does.
wonder.
I think it does.
Mhm.
So the however, the dandelions I don't believe are native to this ecosystem, to this
Mhm.
area. So
Yeah, so non-native vegetation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the Canadian thistle is a native plant, isn't it? Although it's called
Canadian.
Canadian. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of them are
anyway,
native and some
we don't
aren't.
need to get in the weeds.
We don't need to get into the weeds.
Very funny, Jill. I really enjoyed
Good
that.
one, good one.
Sorry.
Oh, hi Billy.
Hi,
We're
sorry
going.
I'm late.
I'm grant writing punchy right now. Sorry.
Man,
Do
that
you
was a
have
good
any
one.
comments on the climate goal and the objectives under it? We're going through each one.
I don't think so. It's hard for me to read and think. I mean, knowing that you're waiting on me. I mean, so did you? Well, I have a quick question. I know that the other day after we had Tuesday night when we had our meeting with everybody, Miranda and Karen were trying to coach us to get down to, I think, 4 goals. Did you do that? I haven't looked at the most recent, or
Sorry.
didn't we have?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Climate, ecological health, economy, energy and buildings, local food and agriculture, transportation, water, zero waste.
And I like that. I just wonder if, and I think they end up clarifying and say like 4 goals is guidance, but I'm just curious where that went. I'm not really attached to only 4 or more. I just wondered if you.
Yeah, I think we're okay with 8.
Okay. I have no objections to it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then we're on ecological health goal, and we're just reading through the objectives to see if we have any changes we want to make to those. If there's repetition in here, any questions about them?
I'd like to do something a little stronger than reduce use of toxic. Reduce is a weak target, I think.
Eliminate for
I mean, if we're shooting for, like, I mean, are we writing this? I just, to make sure I always think about this way, we're writing this as if this is where we're going to be in 10 years or where we are in 10 years. Okay. Looks like it's more like where we're going to be.
So let's see, the objectives should be SMART. So they should be actions that
Okay.
Or they
Billy,
should be.
usually a vision is what the top of the mountain looks like.
Yeah.
So, you know, even though it should be somewhat difficult to get up to the top of the mountain, you also don't want to make it so difficult that there's no way you'd ever get there. So hopefully that gives you a little idea of what
Yeah,
that
I think
is.
that you're right. I think I'm confusing vision with goals. Like vision's more of like where we want to be, and goals are kind of the action steps. Okay. But I think I mean, that's just me. I think eliminate is is more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Therefore a better goal.
Yeah. And it's 10 years out.
I mean, hopefully by then Roundup will be illegal.
Yeah, I'd say we're more than 50% there as far as the town operations are concerned. So we have to educate the community about it.
That's always the number one step.
Well, and I know staff and working with our weed expert, we are really trying to increase steam weeding, you know, the using the non-toxic kind of steam weed approach.
Mm-hmm. Which works well. Yeah.
People get pretty excited in our community when they see us doing it, because it is, you know, it's safer and gets the job done.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Then you can eat the dandelions once they're steamed.
Make some wine.
Exactly.
Okay, economy goal is support a diverse local economy that encourages green businesses and business practices. So we're not looking at a sustainable economy, but more things that we could do in our businesses that would be helpful to the environment, like, you know, having green businesses and green business practices. Now we came up with this, someone in the group came up with this first bullet: develop identity to draw locals and visitors to support our local economy. I'm wondering if that belongs in here.
It seems like I don't quite understand it though. Identity, this would be like Netherlands' reputation is something that people just come here for sake of that. Is that?
I
think Jill came up with this one.
Do you maybe mean brand? Develop a brand that draws locals and visitors to support the local economy?
It's funny, I've been talking and I realized I was muted. I think that might have been a misunderstanding on that, because I do remember a conversation around incentivizing, in a way, you know, businesses to draw an economy out of being a green business.
Isn't there like a BBB certification or CCC? I can't remember what it is now. Some kind of like green business certification.
Oh,
I'll research it before our next call.
Oh, green business certification.
I know companies, when I was working in Utah and, you know, energy efficiency industry, there were some companies there that were that had bought on to that.
Oh, okay.
Let me do some research. I know like Patagonia it's like I'll research it.
Yeah, Longmont has a program for their local businesses that brands them as a sustainable business if they support zero waste practices. But you're talking about something a little bit different, more like
it's like national or international, and you know, I think Patagonia has done it, and you know others. So you know, if it's too expensive, it wouldn't be really a great idea. But like, maybe it's a good model for Netherlands to kind of create their own structure for one.
There's the 1% for the planet. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. those big
No, that's
corporations.
another great thing they do, and that's which I love.
Mhm.
That's not it. I don't want to waste too much time. Let me research it, and then I'll shoot
But
it.
I remember sharing the thought, just about like down in Boulder, they had the wooden nickel program. If you brought your bag, you would put a nickel into the thing to support local schools or whatever. And then there was a check written from the business, but because they save a lot of money not having to buy bags.
Mhm.
And
So
I think
I
the
thought it was
local
kind of a better idea than having penalties.
for
Or,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice when consumers make the decisions for you,
And my thought on the local economy is that localizing our business interactions is supportive of a healthy environment. So we're not like traveling down to Denver to get something. We're not shipping from across the state. We're trying to do things locally. So I think I see how develop a brand would fit into this goal.
But would you want to say develop a planet-friendly brand or, something like that?
Develop a what?
A planet-friendly brand or I don't know.
Oh, well, here is these are not specific actions. The actions are down here in the projects and initiatives, but the objectives should be measurable.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put out a specific project or initiative, that would go into the projects and initiatives. So,
But I think you want to call out that it's about green. I mean, you
okay,
want to call
gotcha.
it green?
Okay, develop
a green brand or
green brand to draw locals and visitors to support local support. I know, I'll just put the economy. Develop a green brand.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should take a little time to scratch our head on that. I mean,
I agree.
Green's kind of a greenwashing. I mean,
exactly. It's overused.
But it's a good placeholder for us to
Okay.
just come up with a better word.
Okay. Support the local businesses. Okay, attract businesses to diversify and localize the economy. So we don't want the economy to be totally gambling. Should be
That's right.
or totally based on the music industry or marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think I like that. Mm-hmm.
okay. Energy and building goal. Foster building practices that encourage energy and water efficiency while also increasing the use of clean energy in new and existing buildings.
I like that initial statement.
Yeah, and then there's the energy efficiency and renewable energy. We're currently at 38% renewable. Our goal is 100 by 2025, but we won't be able to reach that. I think basically because we don't have a program in place for residents to switch to renewable energy. I mean, that would be very costly, and
yeah,
it also would mean you'd have to convince everyone to do it. And we talked about having a solar, a solar garden in town that would provide renewable energy to every home. But for one thing, there's no property in town to support that. But maybe, I mean, I'm not, against, pursuing something like that if it's practical and something that we could actually achieve somehow.
Well, it'd be great. I mean, if we, I think a combination is really how it would happen, you know, where if people, you know, if you get buy-in from some people to put on their homes, if we put it on all town buildings or all, you know, government buildings that we can, or on town properties as we can, and then, you know, encourage or incentivize commercial properties to put it up there. Commercial buildings should have them on there too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I can't remember. Weren't we talking last week that there is some lot that would accommodate at least some solar for a solar garden, or is that not true? As I remember that.
There's the old town shop
Mhm.
over by the police or I'm sorry, the fire administration building
Oh yeah,
where our old town shop used to be. I think that was mentioned at one of these meetings.
yeah, that makes sense. What's happening on that property right now? Is the town still own it? I assume then.
It's got some brownfield issue.
Mhm.
It used to be a garage, so there was contaminants leaked into the ground. And then, of course, it was the town shop. So we are doing environmental studies right now. It just kind of went to the back seat when the pandemic started. It just wasn't as urgent a need. We'll probably pick that up again in the spring or summer. But they did identify that there were some contaminants in the ground, and it just depends really on what the town wants to end up doing with it, how we would mitigate that issue.
Yeah, and I guess it has to be mitigated, but a brownfield is a perfect, you know, that's a great spot to do something like solar, you know,
Right,
when
right.
it gets to a place where it's contained, you know, mitigated to the degree it needs to be, but then put it to good use.
One question I have is the whole topic on old buildings will be made as energy efficient as possible.
Oh, okay, old buildings. So that is SAB's 2021 to 2023 goal.
It just seems very much wide open and unachievable.
Oh, okay.
It does to me anyway.
Well, I think old buildings, or we could say existing buildings might be better, as
That's better.
energy efficient
Existing
as
business.
possible, I think is achievable. I mean, again, that does seem soft, but
But what
it,
does as
it depends
possible
on who
mean?
owns it.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, that's what I'd like to maybe
That's
figure
my
out.
point.
I don't think we want to get rid of it because existing
No,
buildings
I
are
didn't
the
mean
main
that.
problem.
No, I just meant it
Okay.
seems kind of like so vague
Would
and
you like
ambiguous.
to see it incentivized? Because
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's a
think that's
good
the
one.
only way it would happen. I would
yeah,
say keep it at existing buildings instead of old. That's my opinion. But
Existing
I think
buildings.
changing the as efficient as possible is what we're working on really more.
Exactly. So incentivizing making it as energy efficient as possible, I think is great.
Incentivize, and what else?
Incentive, but yeah, I mean, incentivize energy efficiency is really what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Energy efficiency measures. And it's kind of interesting now watching, I touched the base for a little bit of that 2018, and I'm going to watch it tomorrow, the 2018 building code. I'm going to get in tomorrow for the whole thing, but you know, it's going to be, I believe in it in many ways, but it's going to make certain things like more expensive, which is a bummer. Anyways,
So did
I
we
think
want to,
incentivizing energy efficiency, that's the only way they make it work presently, you know, whether utilities do it or larger cities do it. I mean, to do it on a big scale and get buy-in on, you know, from more than just early adopters, you really have to have some kind of incentive, usually a utility incentive to to inspire people to do it.
so can new buildings actually, is that, when I saw this goal, it didn't seem realistic to me. But I don't know much about building construction. So
No, net zero energy is almost going to be code soon, you know, probably by IECC 2024. It almost made it through 2021. So it's probably going to make it in 2024 unless the Home Builders Association has their way. But it's net zero energy is coming sooner than later, and it'll come to commercial buildings first, but it'll come before 2030, probably to all sectors.
How is that achieved? Net zero
Well,
energy and net zero
first by
water
building
consumption.
the most efficient building you can, so that your actual, power needs are as low as possible, and then you add renewables to equal zero. So it's like
Gotcha.
you consume up to
Mm-hmm.
X number of kilowatt hours per year, and then you you install a renewable system to generate that amount, and then you've hit net zero.
What about water consumption?
Storage is the real issue, but that's out of our control right now. But that will be coming, I believe.
But Karen, I think your question is really valid. With where the nature center will be net zero,
Mhm.
and it's a really hard thing to achieve, to be honest. I mean, ours is a big building, but I think it would encourage people to make smaller homes, to
Yes.
not make such wasteful large buildings. But still, I think it's not that
construction.
easy to achieve, is what I've been learning.
And Billy is saying
So
that it will be required.
It's more money. It's a
I
little
know,
more
I'm
money up front,
shocked.
but I think building size is a huge part of it. And then like how well you build
Uh-huh.
the envelope, and then
Mhm.
just smaller systems and less mechanical systems is key, and efficient.
And it would be required in 2024.
Well, I'd say there'll be a push for it. I mean, it almost, there were pushes to make it happen in 2021. And when I say that, the ICC 2018, so those codes are on a 3-year cycle, and 2021 just went through its whole, process, and it didn't quite make it in there. It got kind of whittled out through the process, but you're seeing more national builders just moving that direction because they see it coming as what the market's going to ask for, nationally, and that drives those codes. And so there's a good chance by 2020, ICC 2024, we won't necessarily adopt it then. Hopefully we will, but we may not. But if we do, there's a good chance net zero will be required, and if not, 2027 or 2030. So.
And then how is net zero water consumption achieved?
That's
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
that shouldn't be there.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
Where'd that come from? That's really a poorly written.
Directly from the SAB 2021 to 2023 goals.
Yeah, I think
So
it's a terrible one.
I'll talk to Garrett about it.
Yeah.
And let him know our
Water
concerns.
conservation should be its own bullet.
Yeah, I think, no doubt, water reduction, mass reductions of water consumption.
We got that down here. Water. Okay.
Yeah, so I'd take that out.
Yep.
Okay.
Take
the water consumption part
Just
out.
Water consumption for now, and then
I would make it a separate bullet. I mean, really, if you're doing energy in buildings, it needs to be a bullet.
But there is a water goal down below.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we need to have a bullet
in here
with buildings. So whether water has one specific buildings, I think water needs to be under the building, under buildings as well.
You're right.
And water conservation. What do we in old buildings? New.
I mean, the current water prices is encouraging
buildings.
Water conservation.
Well,
there's nothing like expensive utilities to get people
increase water conservation. New buildings and water conservation will be in buildings will be increased, something like that.
Yeah, and we'd even say more than new buildings. Yeah, I mean,
there, increase water conservation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can, if we can tighten these up and actually put metrics on them, and timeframes if we want something less than 10 years. We can go back and do that later. And I put revise and update building design standards to include sustainability. That would be the 2018 international standard. Okay. Local food and agriculture. Oh, anything else on the energy and buildings?
I think that's good.
Okay. Local food and agriculture. Support local food production and encourage sustainable agricultural practices on publicly owned and private lands. We can't really do a lot of food production up here, although
I just don't see how that goal even fits around here. And we're not even really, don't even have any business living here at this elevation. We can't produce our own food without, I don't know.
well,
I mean, just greenhouses is how it's being done. The people that are doing
Water
it.
consumption though.
I have,
I don't know.
and I have, people have kitchen gardens. I do,
Mm-hmm.
and I grow quite a bit. And then maybe the what is that gardening that is done all indoors?
The container gardening containers.
Yeah.
And you can do vertical gardening like walls, lettuce walls, and things like that. And, I think it's a good one to keep in here.
Though. I wouldn't call it agriculture.
Well, but it is actually. I mean, I think it's it's not like we're expecting a bunch of farms to ranches to pop up. It's just. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think that's even like a term for urban agriculture, and you're seeing more gardens in the cities, and I think it's really the right word, actually, ultimately.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love my garden.
Yeah. So
it's hard to grow, but
and we have a community garden. That's great.
I was just going to say the community garden is so popular.
Yeah, we have a great. It's a great thing. So sorry, I didn't mean to be negative.
And the regenerative agricultural practices often combine livestock with plants, and there's a supporting relationship between the two. So we do have some animals up here. I mean, we have horses and yaks, and
there's definitely. I mean, you got people doing. I mean, you got Aaron O'Brien with all of her chickens, and other people out, and that guy doing the beef out in Magnolia. I mean, there's definitely, the potential for different types of, even livestock. Not so much in town though.
Yeah, I would like to revisit the chicken ordinance.
Revisit chicken ordinance.
Do we still have a chicken ordinance where you can't have chickens in town?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you can. You just need to have a free.
So I think we need to revisit that one.
Even in Boulder, you can. Oh no, wait. I lived in Boulder County.
You can have chickens in Netherlands. Did that change?
Well, I guess to clarify, there's a chicken ordinance. There's a chicken ordinance that kind of has specific guidelines.
You're cutting out, Ben.
I think we should review the chicken ordinance.
I think you can have chickens in town.
Down here, review. Seriously, it should be in here.
I have chickens in town.
Yeah, I was just say I do.
I don't think you can have a rooster in town though.
Yes, that's.
Is that it?
There's a noise.
I think so.
Okay.
That's correct.
So
we have chickens. I didn't want to say it to someone else.
Okay, and the last bullet there is increase accessibility of local food for vulnerable populations. I think we're doing that with the.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous.
Gardens. Yeah.
Let's keep it up.
Yeah.
Increase it.
Just giving you guys time notice that in 5 minutes we have to switch to a meeting with our attorney. I believe she is coming on this link.
Okay.
Where are your priorities?
So
we've got meeting after meeting after meeting today.
So I'm thinking for our next meeting we should go back to the I think we had at 11 a.m. Was that right?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
It,
and again, next Monday, I'm out of the loop on all counts.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does 11 work for you, Billy?
yeah,
Okay,
I
so
can do
let's do-
that. We're gonna go out of the town later in the week, so yeah, that'll be workable.
Okay, 11. And so we got through quite a few goals. We just have 3 left.
One thing on the transportation goal, Karen, we should include our thoughts on a shuttle that goes around town. An
Support-
electric shuttle.
Okay. Support car,
Maybe
van,
that's by the support car van pooling, but
and shuttles.
yeah, and a
Yeah,
shuttle.
I think that's a
Oops.
great
A
idea.
town shuttle,
Cool little electric rig.
electric shuttle, you know, something that's a model,
Increase
Oh,
level.
not a
that's
fossil
that
fuel
cool vehicle.
guzzler.
Increase, promote and support alternative and multimodal transportation. So I'm just saying, I think actually saying we're, support a town shuttle, that's a project, I think.
Yeah, it's
like,
too specific.
yeah, like saying, develop, research and develop a plan for a town shuttle, would be actually down here in an action. But I think we got it covered by saying promote and support alternative and multimodal transportation.
Where is that?
A very first bullet.
Oh, okay, so sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
and this
covered.
is probably a duplicate. So I mean, I could put it in there, right? If we want to support car, van, well, and shuttles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess we can go through these quickly in 3 minutes.
Hey, I do want to say one real quick before we go. If you or Tom are flexible, earlier or later in the day might be better for me because I was going to bring my son skiing next Monday. I just remembered that. So if
Do you
possible,
want to do 10 a.m.?
if not, I can work it out.
We won't be able to host a meeting for you at 10.
Yeah, either 10 or you know what? I'm going to have that other. How about later? I think later would be my.
Do you want to do Tuesday instead? We could do a different
now?
day of the week. Oh, we have a hard stop at 5. Oh, 4 o'clock? That works for me.
Oh, 4 o'clock next week. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we have a meeting at 4:30 with the mayor and the mayor pro tem.
It's on a different
about
platform
3:30?
though, so I could host
Okay.
them still.
And then they just
and then we'll
meet.
jump on when we're
Okay.
done.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock on the
4 o'clock.
22nd, please. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when we'll finalize our draft goals and objectives, and we'll get some input from SAB and or Garrett, either before or shortly after that.
That's great.
So if you have any, Jill, if you have any more comments, you could just add them here as suggested changes or comments, and
Okay.
we can go from there. Yes, we have 2 minutes. So I'm not sure about this. Ensure that all on-site wastewater treatment systems are permitted and improved. I mean, I think that's Boulder County does that, right? Or should we?
Where are you
leave that in
seeing
there?
that? I'm sorry.
It's the third bullet under water
That's
control.
actually a state, there's a state
On-site
regulatory body that we have to
Oh.
report to regularly, and they are the ones who make sure we're following all the protocol, the state protocol.
Should I take that out or leave it? Is it something we? I guess I should take it out so we'll have less objectives if it's not really anything beneficial to have in here. So let me get rid of that one. Sure.
Understand and prevent.
And Jill, I'll put an educate bullet on everything. This one has an educate one.
Thanks.
as does the last one, zero waste. Okay, I think it's 5 o'clock, so I think we need to close.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone. Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
very,
great
very
work.
much.
Thank
Very
you.
productive.
Okay, bye.
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 Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you guys. We'll see you later.
Alrighty.